Well, hello, I am Ryan Bogle, moderating another, weird, strange, rambling debate in the basement. We are morons in the basement, also known as the Aardvark Brigade. Tonight's subject between David Harvey and Richy Pederson. Guys, what's more important as a personality trait, intelligence or charisma? Richy, we'll start with you.
Well, obviously that would be dependent upon what context you're talking about when you say important. If you're saying important for success in life or
No, just important for personality. What is a more valued personality trait?
Well, really, you can go one way or the other because people are typically either intelligent or charismatic. I know many of both, and very few that have both. So I don't know that one is necessarily better than the other. For my money, I'm going to go with intelligence because I've always been high on the intelligence marker and very, very pathetically low on the charisma marker. So obviously, I'm going to root for the geeks, right? But I can see a valid argument. I mean, Brad Pitt's not real bright, but he's made scads of money.
David, counterpoints? Dave.
Alexander Hamilton was very intelligent and he was very charismatic, at least to the women.
Well, which is more important to you, charisma or intelligence? What do you look for? I mean, do you want to talk to somebody who's bright as hell or, is about as smart as this lamp right there?
I want to talk to Chris. I like the charismatic because the charisma implies a certain amount of intelligence. It's hard to be charismatic, if that's the right word, without having a certain degree of intelligence.
Okay, how about...
I would actually challenge that by saying, rather than intelligence, charismatic people have a sort of sub-intellectual cunning.
But
which
that's
is different than
okay.
intelligence.
Okay, but that's enough. That's enough to get my interest. I understand what you're saying. Marilyn Monroe, for example.
Yeah,
I would love to
not the brightest bulb
Marilyn
in the tree, but
right.
Probably really cool to talk to.
That's it. Or even Princess Diana. I've heard a lot of people don't like her at all, and perhaps she wasn't. But she's a fascinating...
Well, she hasn't had a whole...
tabloids, I suppose.
Yeah. But and she probably did, unfortunately.
Well, how about let's change intelligence because that's too vague. Charisma or wisdom?
Well, wisdom and intelligence being two completely different things. I would always go for somebody wise. But I have a personal life philosophy that everybody that I meet and talk to has something to teach me. Even my boss or one of my many bosses, because I'm the working poor, so I have to have a gajillion jobs. But all these people that have had and Harvey, these people that have more life experience to me, which wisdom to me is the collection or the result of a collection of life experiences. And so I would vote wisdom. Myself.
David?
I think wisdom is a good vote. I think, as I mentioned before, I think boredom is the termites of the soul. So if somebody, for whatever reason, is not boring, I would probably tend toward that person. If there's somebody who's got an IQ of 480 and he's boring as heck, I just don't want to talk to him.
Yeah.
I'd rather talk to somebody with a 118 IQ who's charming. So, you see my point.
You do realize that 118 is a higher average IQ than our current Congress.
Well, I'll tell you what's interesting. I had a friend who said that you had, well, I won't even go into it, but I've heard on a number of different occasions, read on every again, that John Kennedy's IQ was only 118. Which you compare it with...
Only 118. Well, that's pretty high.
Compared to the list that they have him on, he's way the heck down the list.
Well,
but I knew him as a very intelligent man. I mean, a very intelligent guy.
And JFK, I would call out as having been very charismatic, and
that
being his primary redeeming quality.
So do you think that intelligent, wise, charismatic people are more likely to get shot than non-wise, charismatic people?
If you factor in that wise, charismatic, intelligent people tend to go to high places, and that leads them
like mountains, or metaphorically high?
Metaphorically high places, i.e., the heads of companies, the heads of civil rights movements, the heads of government, various high places like that, then yes, I would say that leads them to have a higher likelihood of being shot. Though there is always a possibility for any random fucking person to be shot in America, or anywhere else for that matter.
Zimbabwe, same percentages?
Zimbabwe, if I'm not incorrect, is in Africa, and Africa is not the healthiest place to be. Nothing against the Africans, but they do have a fairly violent culture there. Continent-wide, apparently.
Well, that's because
I
there's
understand.
all sorts of giraffes, and you can't ever trust giraffes.
Well, giraffes and diamond mines and drug dealers and slave traders and all sorts of bad things.
Right, they're all tied in together. Anyway, we're running low, David Harvey. I would like your final points.
I think that if you looked at the assassins of all the American presidents, with the possible exception of John Wilkes Booth, they've all been complete morons.
Richie, your final points?
I have no idea what the fuck point my esteemed colleague was trying to make with that, but I
certainly wandered, that's for sure.
Well, I just don't know what you're trying to say about assassins, I guess. Are assassins idiots? Because to me,
they're losers. And
to me, anybody that can get close enough to a president to whack him is a pretty intelligent.
Okay, we got to wrap this up. I would like to give final scores. David Harvey, 75.4 points. Richie Pederson, 75.46 points. Y'all have a good night.
Yeah, buddy.